Hola, hola, and bienvenidos familia. Welcome to Tech and Tequila, the podcast where tech meets comunidad con corazón. I'm your host, Kat Lopez Shelby, the Latina founder, digital nomad, of course, founder and owner of Shelby Technology Solutions, and last but not least, the co-creator of #YourDigitalBliss. On this show, we break down small business technology, cybersecurity, and of course, the word of it feels like forever, AI, automation, cloud, and connectivity. So your systems support you and your customers instead of stressing you out. This is your spot for practical tech tips, digital nomad life, and ROI-driven strategy with a splash of tequila and mindset shifts. You'll hear from entrepreneurs and tech partners using technology to grow, protect, and simplify their business. So grab your sip, hit follow, and let's make your tech stack as smooth as your tequila. And of course, we would be remiss if we didn't go over this. Today, we're talking, of course, with Dataprise. And I am joined with two amazing guests, Mr. John Gonzalez and Derrick Wade. And we're going to break this down in real life language for you. But you know how we do this. But first, let's get to our tequila tasting. All right. Well, my tech and tequila familia, you know how we do it. So before we get into the meat and papas of today's episode with Dataprise and Mr. John and of course Mr. Derrick, how could we have tech and tequila without some tequila? So first and foremost, I want to talk about the amazing Lalo tequila, and that is what is in my glass today, right? So we're sipping on some Lalo tequila. And you know what I love about Lalo is it has that keeping it super simple energy. Lalo keeps it simple. Agave, water, clean, intentional, no extra fluff. All right, so if you're sipping with me, let's take a look. Doesn't this look crystal clear? Mwah, bonita. Now let's bring it up to the nose. Take a sip. Oof. I don't know if you get this, but I get a bright, fresh agave vibe and then something warm and soft. All right. Now let's sip it. Oof. Do you notice that finish? It's smooth with just a little kick right at the end. No, I'm telling you, Lalo has it. Like, if you have not tried Lalo, I highly recommend trying it. It is absolutely one of my favorites, right? You know, and as I just said, this is one of my favorites because this tequila feels like no chaos, just quality. You know, and this is one of those ones that you can sip at the end of the evening, just on the rocks. It's amazing. All right, familia. So, of course, I'm going to give you my caveat, which is sip responsibly, hydrate, and if you don't drink, you're still 100% part of the party during this holiday season. So, grab your sparkling water, grab your cafecito, whatever you got. All right. So, let's do it now. So, let's bring on our guest. I am super excited to welcome Mr. John and Mr. Derrick from Dataprise. Alrighty, familia. Thank you for that. Of course, always remember, sip responsibly and hydrate. And if you don't drink, you're still 100% a part of the party. Grab your sparkling water, your cafecito, or whatever you have. So let's chat with our guest right now. First and foremost, I want to welcome Mr. John and Derrick here today. Thank you.
Thanks, Kat. Thanks for having us.
Happy to be here.
Yes. Now, I've known you guys for a while. I would like to say since dinosaurs roamed the earth, but that seems mean to all of us. So, but for someone who doesn't know who you are, why don't you kind of give us a quick intro?
Got it. So my name is John Gonzalez. I've been with the company going on, almost 22 years. I come from the legacy wireless watchdogs side of the house. About 5 years ago, we were acquired by Dataprise. And Dataprise is a nationwide cyber-led MSSP services. And the beauty of the marriage is that most MSPs and MSPs out there do not have MDM or mobility management built in. And most clients are looking for one vendor to consolidate and manage it all. So that's kind of how we started. Before I even started it with mobility 22 years ago, I was in the entertainment industry. So similar is kind of how Wireless Watchdog started. We used to rent cell phones to the production studios. So we would rent them out for a week or two, maybe a month, depending if it's a feature film or a TV show. And we used to sign the agreements with the carriers. And back then it was like mobile to mobile, nights and weekends. So what we would do in order for us to turn a profit, we would actually rent out the cell phones and we'd give them 1,000 minutes to the producers and, production. And if they went over that 1,000 minutes, we'd bill them, maybe a quarter a minute. And we wouldn't give them nights and weekends, mobile to mobile. So it was very lucrative. But every time that those devices were sitting on the shelf and not on production, that bill still came. So that's how Wireless Watchdog started, in completely managing the life cycle of all these mobile devices. And the whole premise was, hey, imagine how many companies out there, whether in the construction and finance and healthcare, how many companies are having mobile devices and they're giving it to IT that's overstretched, okay? Or they're giving it to procurement, somebody in finance, they're in construction, they're doing the best what they can. They look at their bill, and as long as it's about, let's say 10 grand, and it comes them out about 10 grand that next month, they're like, oh, you know what, let's just pay for it. The only time they look at it if that bill kind of jumps. So that's kind of, my background story. Derrick, D-Wade, you want to introduce yourself and your goal and your talk track here? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, sure. Appreciate that, John. Thanks, Kat, again for having us on. I'm Derrick Wade, National Sales Director here at Dataprise. Been with the company since March of this year. Been working with Dataprise for years, though, at previous stops. So, definitely looking forward to getting into the topics at hand today and sharing some, whether it's use cases, best case scenarios, where we fit, how we play, how we win, where Wireless Watchdogs and Dataprise work well together, and the different managed services and cybersecurity services and any other services or solutions that we bring to the table, how they may fit with what you guys are looking for.
I love it. I love it. I was going to say, thank you guys. I was going to reply to John when you say like everybody wants something on one bill. It kind of sounds like they might want like one throat to choke versus like having to call 18 people and everybody's playing pass the buck.
Or like we say, one back to pat.
That's right. One back to pat. We'll be nice about it. We'll be nice about it. It's the holidays.
That's right.
And of course, you guys and Dataprise is on Santa's like nice list, not the naughty, right?
That's right.
But let's kind of get into it, John. For somebody who is hearing MDM or managed mobility, what would you say is kind of the plain language about what that really means, and why should a business care about managing their mobile environment in the first place?
Sure. Well, the reality is that we live in a mobile-centric world nowadays, where mobility isn't just a convenience, but it really is the backbone of modern business operations. So managed mobility services is outsourcing the complexity of managing all your company's mobile devices, phones, tablets, and hotspots, so you don't have to, or that overstretched IT department can focus on, other things than trying to play the guessing game. It covers procurement, provisioning, security, okay, support, and expense management. So why do most companies care? Because unmanaged mobile environments lead to overspending, huge security risks, and wasted time, right? So managed mobility keeps costs under control, devices secure, and that company's team productive. And you now have a leader. That's all we do. We live and breathe, or these companies live and breathe mobility. And that really comes, kind of like an extension of that IT department, right? To help them save time, money, and frustration.
I think you're definitely speaking the language of most business owners these days. You're talking about time and money and frustration. And of course, we all know these IT teams are stretched as thin as possible. Right. But where do you guys usually see money leaking in wireless spend? Like, what are the most common silent drains you see?
Sure. Now, just for clarity, we are not, when these managed mobility services come in, we're not asking you to switch carriers, disrupt service. You're staying exactly where you're at with the same carrier. We're just coming in and optimizing that environment to save you time, money, and frustration. Now, where the biggest leaks are. And we start with a complimentary assessment, right, without obligation or commitment, to really show you the facts as to really what's going on, right? The biggest leaks that we're seeing nowadays is unused lines of service. I just did a presentation on Friday. Customer had 252 lines. Out of those 252 lines, 72 of them had been sitting for over 3 months on full pop rate plans. When we presented to the CFO and the IT director, most of them was like, wait a minute, why are we still paying for these devices? Tammy hasn't been with us for 3 years. By the way, why didn't we just order 45 devices when we have all these devices sitting? So unused lines is the number one thing. 10 times out of 10, we're going to find that, okay? Overage charges. Now with the whole unlimited plans coming, around, now it's about which unlimited plan are you using, right? So outdated plans. And then we like I said, we find dozens of inactive devices, thousands of inactive devices stuck on old contracts. One client was overspending about $50,000 annually just on unused lines. So we did the assessment, canceled the deadlines, we optimized the plan, saved them 40% in 1 year. Okay. So that's where most of it is, right? Is one, the biggest thing is time, right? IT has no time to manage these devices. And from a security concern, their biggest issues is onboarding mobile devices, but more importantly, offboarding devices. So when somebody leaves, are we getting it back? Are we reissuing that device? So this is very difficult to manage, but they are business needs and they need to be managed correctly and efficiently for security reasons as well.
Well, and that really leads me into the next thing, because a lot of the people that I personally interact with at Shelby Tech, and a lot of people that listen to this, have like remote teams, field workers, people that are out and about, and you talked about security. So what are some of the biggest security risks that you see, like with these different devices?
Sure.
I know the number one.
You want to take this one?
Tell me if I'm wrong. It's
go for it.
Lost or stolen devices. Am I right or wrong?
Yep.
There you go.
Every phone and tablet is a potential entry point for hackers, right? And most importantly, the executives are leaving their tablets in the in the Ubers, or jumping on at Starbucks, right? Using their Wi-Fi, unsecured Wi-Fi and malware. So MDM, mobile device management, okay, UEM, unified endpoint management. This is the same term. It's software. Think of Microsoft Intune, SODI, Omnissa, MOS 360. These are policy enforcement tools. Now, this is very important, okay? What cyber insurance companies are calling out on mobile devices, and this is directly from the underwriters, is this. If a mobile device is not centrally managed with MDM along with MFA and continuously patched for security, and that is an entry point for a cyber incident, your claims are null and void, and they're going to look for ways to not pay. So this is about being compliant and making sure that these mini computers that we're walking around with are secure.
So that kind of leads to a secondary question, because obviously if you're an owner, a small business, a large enterprise, whatever, you want your employees to be utilizing their devices. So how do you guys lock things down without per se making some of these users and some of those same people you just talked about, executives, C-levels people, may not be as tech savvy as other, without being miserable?
Yeah. So our approach is co-managing their MDM environment. Most companies are going to have that to enforce encryption, remote wipes, app control, without killing the user experience. Okay, employees get flexibility, IT gets visibility and control. Think of it like I like to think of it like a seatbelt, right? You barely notice it, but it keeps you safe. So that's kind of why it's so important, as far as making sure that, because sometimes it's like, wait, the employee's like, wait, I don't want you to put this on my phone. Let's just call it that they're BYOD, bring your own device. So they're bringing their own device. They have to access corporate information. Okay, so you need to be able to lock those BYOD devices down. Some of the pushback you're going to get is, well, I don't want IT looking at my firstborn kid's pictures or deleting those, right? So it's really a misconception, if it's done correctly, to be able to secure and keep everything separate.
Which of course makes it better for everybody involved. And I know we kind of touched on this briefly, but as I said, these IT teams are stretched as thin as physically possible right now. They're running around like chickens with no heads.
Right.
what do you guys do across like your platform, across what you offer for like procurement, provisioning, support, and reporting that helps to ease that for these teams?
Yeah, that's a great question. And again, as I mentioned, without switching your carrier, without disrupting your service, typically without spending any additional money, we show you a way to cut cost. That actually allows us to not only pay for our service, but leave a net profit or revenue stream going back to the bottom line. And every executive I know, because I sit on the seats, everybody's looking for ways to cut costs and be more efficient, do more with less, right? So from a savings standpoint, right, and accountability and process-driven partnership, we're going to handle the entire life cycle, right? Starting from the foundation, from the contract side of the house. Are you on the right contract, right? Since we manage hundreds and thousands of mobile devices across every industry you can imagine, we have that inside baseball knowledge that we bring to our clients. So if we see that they're in the same industry as one of our other clients, or have around the same amount of devices, and our other clients are getting more love, we're going to bring that over to them, right? Starting at the foundation, and then it's about the entire life cycle: procurement, provisioning, carrier management, troubleshooting, reporting, securing the end of life devices. So for business with tiny to no IT teams, we become their kind of an extension of their department at the expense of the cell phone carriers. So the bill reductions we're helping realize. So that means fewer tickets, less time chasing carriers, playing the guessing game. Is this being done right? Not knowing how the user are using their devices, so they can focus on other strategic projects and innovating for the company.
Right there, right? Because everybody wants to work on projects. They don't want to just do like password resets and figuring out whose device got stolen and where it ran off to.
Yeah.
Now, all of that is so important. But as we look ahead, like what do you see the biggest like trend or things moving forward for mobility, IoT, and obviously expense management going forward?
Yeah, so expect explosive growth in IoT devices. It's happening now. Target security requirements and AI-driven expense management, right? That's going to really drive, costs down. Businesses are going to also need visibility across, all these endpoints, not just their phones, but sensors, cameras, wearables. So one simple self-check, we can pull your last three bills. If you see devices that maybe users are not there anymore, or any usage patterns that don't match, you're probably overspending. So that's what you need to look at. Be ahead, partner with experts, right? Because what we do, it's all we do for life, for a living. And that way you can stay ahead of the game, because these are living and breathing devices. Usage goes up, usage goes down. You have new devices, new features, right? And it becomes overwhelming, right, for that overstretched IT department to stay on top of it.
Exactly. Now, if someone's listening to this and they're thinking, man, this all sounds great, what do you guys see as like your ideal client for Wireless Watchdog via, of course, Dataprise?
Yeah, so on the mobility side, any client that has over 100 mobile devices or multiple carriers, especially the ones with remote teams or field workers. So 100 devices or more, we want a complimentary assessment. There's no obligation or commitment. It takes about 3 to 7 minutes to get us the information. And we turn that around in about 5 business days. And we're going to show you and the companies how much money is on the table, where the money's coming from, all these efficiencies and processes that we've helped other companies, right, to help them lead and stay, ahead of the curve. So ROI is huge when there's complexity, right? So one client that we had, they had 1,200 lines, and they were drowning in billing errors and unused devices. Then after implementing, we did the complimentary assessment. Okay, we presented that 5 days later. Within 5 hours, the CFO came back and is like, "This is a no-brainer. I mean, you're going to save us money by our next bill. We're not switching, replacing circuits, waiting for contracts to expire." So to date, they've saved over $250,000 in 1 year, net of our cost. Okay. So what else can you do with that money? And I know CFOs are looking in every direction for ways to cut cost, right? And it takes them about 10%. So in order to turn a $250,000 profit, they have to write 2.5 million, probably even, probably a lot more nowadays. So that's where wireless chaos turns into predictable, secure operations.
I love it. I love it. Like, it's such a good example, a real life example of ways that you guys can help. And of course, if you're able to save that, we're going to take a step back, switch lanes a little bit, and kind of look more at Dataprise as a whole, because now they've got this extra over here where they can bring in Dataprise and everything else that it offers to help. So, I know I've spoken with Dataprise before. They talk a lot about modern managed IT, business outcomes, and of course, reducing downtimes. That can all sound like very exciting and lots of buzzwords, but what exactly does day-to-day look like for a client that's utilizing Dataprise on that side of the house?
Derrick, you want to take that one?
Yeah, for sure. Just to make sure I'm asking the right question. So you're saying Dataprise on the MSP side or Dataprise on the mobility side?
Dataprise on the MSP side.
On the MSP side. So yeah, I mean, day to day, we're 600 employees strong. So, and we're over the majority of that employee headcount are all engineering or technically focused. So day to day, the way that we operate is by basically surrounding our customer base and our partners alike with the right technical acumen, the right knowledge base, the nice deep bench of well-qualified individuals who can basically attack any issue that may arise, whether it's from a simple password reset, adding and removing users, all the way up to more complex things on the cybersecurity side, from data forensics and incident responses, basically, right? Because of course, we know that cyber attacks on the rise, and so you want somebody that's competent, that's in there, that can respond quickly, and not you as the partner or customer have to reach out to your vendor to let them know, hey, we were breached. Anything you guys want to do about that? We're very proactive over here, and that's how we approach. That's what day-to-day at Dataprise looks like.
Yeah, so going off of that, I mean, I know that you guys have kind of touched base on this a little bit already, but y'all serve businesses that have smaller IT teams to maybe where they want to reallocate those IT teams to do other items. How do you work with the business to help them decide, are we going to take this part over, or do we want to co-manage this support, and what model is right for them?
Gotcha. So for that question, I would say look at it based on, it's either a resource it's a resource and a goal type scenario, right? So based on your internal resources and your actual goals, it just depends on how best to attack your scenario. So say, for instance, if a business has no IT team and fully managed services basically would give them like an end-to-end coverage from security and infrastructure and user support standpoint without having to hire any additional staff. So on the flip side, think about organizations that do have an IT team. A co-managed support model may look better for them because basically it would just add scale and additional expertise. Like I mentioned, our deep bench of technical experts over here at Dataprise. So it just adds more to the team, basically become an extension of your client's team. So just some things to look out for, some signs that you may have outgrown whatever your current model is. Think about your projects. Are there more frequent delays in your projects? Are there any security gaps? Is your IT team spending all their time putting out fires, or instead of coming up with new ideas and innovating and moving the company forward? That's where somebody like Dataprise can come in and help out to basically just reshape, rebalance the IT infrastructure and get you guys on the right track.
Now, I know you spoke about it a little while before, but I know that when it comes to cybersecurity and letting people know, like, hey, this is what happens, there's always two sides of the coin for achieving maximum uptime or resiliency. How does Dataprise help a business like I call it resilient proof, like make sure that they're going to stay up, that they're going to be notified on your side of the house when something happens?
Gotcha. So proactive monitoring, right? And that word is pretty in bold and capital letters whenever we're talking to our client base. So I'll look at it this way. Dataprise and our cybersecurity team, we work to keep bad things out. So disaster recovery is another key component there as well, right? So it helps you get you back on track whenever there may be a slip up or something slips through. So basically, there are two sides to the same coin, because like even some of the best defenses, they can't really guarantee that there's going to be zero or no incidents at all. But with Dataprise, we combine layered security with tested recovery plans. So basically, like if you get hit with ransomware or if a server ever fails, we can restore the systems pretty quickly and minimize your downtime. So it's basically, peace of mind for a business owner and to keep continuity.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is that you guys are providing that, well, we thought that was backed up, and you are making sure like, yes, we're putting this plan in place beforehand to make sure that these items are covered.
Yeah. We put a plan together from really doing the pre-sales motion, even going through service transition, onboarding. We bring the right resources to the table to make sure that as we go through each step, we're putting the right playbooks, the right run books together to ensure that we understand your environment top to bottom, and that you understand how we're going to respond to your scenario. It's not a one size fits all when it comes to cybersecurity and disaster recovery. We try to make sure that it's tailored to your needs and that we can respond the way that your business requires us to respond.
I love that. A lot of our listeners run remote or hybrid teams. And of course, some are completely digital or don't actually have brick and mortar locations anymore. How do your managed services come together to power like working from anywhere and making sure that you're not sacrificing security or someone's sanity trying to keep everything working like it's supposed to?
I like it. So John, whenever he's doing his mobility presentations, he has this graphic that he puts up of this office place with these people kind of holding up these bills and everybody's pulling their hair out and things like that. So I kind of thought about that as you were asking this question, because that's pretty much what it looks like. It doesn't matter if it's mobility or managed services or whatever the case is. So think about it in three key areas. Secure access is a big component. Reliable performance is another one. And then also having support that's very responsive. So those are the three key things that basically an anywhere workplace needs. So how we solve for that, think about it from a standpoint of, we try our best, or we do our best to deliver through managed cloud services or mobile device management, as we spoke about earlier. And we also have a 24/7 help desk to make sure that those folks that are remote, no matter where they are, no matter what time they're working, no matter what day of the week they're working, that we have somebody that's available to help solve any problems that may pop up. So, basically employees can access apps securely from any device while we enforce the compliance and the patching behind the scenes to keep everything secure. It's all about really enabling flexibility without sacrificing security or overwhelming the internal team if they decided to go with that co-managed scenario.
Yeah, I love that. Now, these last couple of questions that I have for you guys are for both of y'all. And I know that whether it's Wireless Watchdog or Dataprise managed IT, y'all work across tons of different industries. Like, what are some patterns that you guys are seeing in IT, or challenges or priorities that y'all are seeing right now?
Sure. You want to take that one?
Yeah, go ahead. Because I mean, really, it's kind of simple for me, but let's see if you hit on the same things.
Let's see. Okay. So yes, you nailed it, right? So across every industry, whether it's banking, healthcare, legal, nonprofit, energy, the three priorities that dominate right now is stronger cybersecurity, audit-ready compliance, and scalable infrastructure. You got a lot of M&A going on there. So, that's kind of where I'm going. What were you thinking, D-Wade?
Yeah, right on the head. Cybersecurity, compliance. Those are the key buzzwords that you hear right now, especially talking to any partner from SMB all the way up through enterprise, and as well as clients as well, right? So everybody wants to make sure that they have their infrastructure locked tight so that they are at as low a risk as possible for any type of breach or incident, and then also keeping up with any type of compliance or regulatory scenarios that they have to maintain.
Yeah. So at the end of it, the advice is really don't wait if you haven't done it yet.
Mhm.
Do an assessment, right? Identify your crown jewels, test backups, run tabletop exercises. The cost of being prepared is always lower than the cost of downtime.
Yep.
So this kind of leads into my next question, and it may be kind of more of a reiteration, but if there's one piece of advice or something that you wish every business that's growing or scaling or moving into different, hybrid environments, what do you wish they would do prior to a crisis hitting?
Yeah, I just kind of said it, but go ahead, D.
Act now. Don't wait. You don't want to wait until the downtime hits before you react. Don't be reactionary. As your vendor, our goal is to be as proactive as possible. And so we're asking our partners and clients to kind of do the same, right? Don't put yourself in a position to where it's I wish I would have at that time. So think about your business, think about your customer base, think about the folks that depend on whatever service or solution that you're offering in the industry that you're in, and think about how much you'll be missed if you ever have to have downtime. React now and don't wait till tomorrow.
Or don't wait to hire a security guard after the bank gets robbed, right?
That's a great
There you go. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't do it as an after effect. No. And of course, last but not least, my personal favorite question. And each of you get to answer these separately. So if Wireless Watchdog or Dataprise was a tequila, would it be a blanco, an anejo, or a reposado, and why?
Ooh. My gosh, I drink all three of them, so I can't tell you. I don't know. I'm more of a reposado guy. I don't know why. Just I grew up with that, like tequila. I'm from Jalisco, so like there's a lot of farms, agave farms out there. Yeah, it's a hard question for me. I'm an equal opportunity alcoholic, so I'm good. I sip once in a while. What about you, Derrick?
I've heard great things about reposados. Did I say that right? Did I roll my R correctly? I've heard great things about reposados. So I would probably lean towards that. It sounds a little bit more tightened and buttoned up. It makes you feel like you have a collared shirt with a tie on when you say it. So we'll say that that's where Dataprise sits.
How about you?
I love it.
What about you?
I would even say it's a reposado, because the thing about Dataprise is it mixes well with every single business. You guys have talked about construction, banking, about all of the above as being, great clients for you guys. So first and foremost, I want to thank you guys for joining me on Tech and Tequila. I love everything that you guys talked about. You bring so much to the table. I guess this is kind of the very last point, like two things. If someone's looking to get in touch with Wireless Watchdogs or Dataprise, where's the best way to do that? And also, where is the best way for someone to find each of you?
Sure. We can send information after this call. I'm John Gonzalez, the director of the mobility. So you can find me on LinkedIn for Dataprise. My email is very simple, john.gonzalez@dataprise.com. Derrick?
Yeah, and email is easy as well, derrick.wade@dataprise.com. But if you have any opportunities, any questions, it's partnerships@dataprise.com. Don't hesitate to reach out to your channel manager or engineering resource at your TSD that you're working with. And yeah, we're not hard to find.
Yeah, we'll just call Kat and she'll get you to us.
Yeah, I was going to say, there you go. Or just call Kat and Shelby Technology Solutions.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, familia, bien gracias, of course, for both of you guys being here. I guess some quick takeaways for everybody is obviously mobility is not just phones, and IT support isn't just tickets. And resilience isn't just about backup. It's about strategy that protects your time, your money, and your reputation, and of course, your peace of mind. So obviously, if you want more and you want to learn more about this, I gave my call Shelby Technology Solutions, but of course, get a hold of Mr. John or Derrick at Dataprise. So If this episode helped you, of course, share it with a business owner friend who's might be drowning in tech chaos that is causing them to want to have tequila at the end of the night instead of enjoying it and sipping it peacefully. And obviously, leave a review, hit follow, and as always, keep your tech tight and your tequila smoother. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Tech and Tequila. I hope you enjoyed our conversation today. To stay updated about all things tech and more, don't forget to visit us at our website, shelbyts.com. If you loved what you heard, remember to show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our podcast. Your 5-star ratings and reviews mean the world to us and help us to reach more listeners just like you. So muchas gracias again for joining us with Tech and Tequila. Thank you so much. You learned a lot about tech and maybe you had a nice drink of tequila.